Hey there guys, I want to talk to you about buying your own home, and in particular, should a Christian buy their own home in 2026? You know, when it comes to home ownership, a lot of people feel enormous pressure. And so I want to give you some challenging thinking around this area so you can determine whether buying is wise, or maybe you're just feeling, like you might be having to give in to pressure. Because the reality is, when buying a home, there's a lot of stress attached to it because of people's emotions, with buying homes, their faith and their identity and all their finances. All these issues are all getting wrapped up into the one thing. And some of these things aren't necessarily good things too. They're things we may need to address in our life. But the reality is also, home ownership means different things to different people. For some, it's a form of stability, having your own home that you can do things to and pay off, and it gives a sense of family stability and longevity. For others, it may be success, and for others, stability. So all these sort of things are wrapped up in the decision of whether you own a home or not. And of course, the question is, does the Bible say you have to own a home? And the answer is no. The Bible doesn't talk about home ownership. What it does talk about is the fact that we should be good stewards with whatever our circumstances are, whether it's home ownership, whether it's renting. We should be good stewards, and that's how we should think about it. Now, home ownership can be a blessing though, particularly, as I say to people, by the time you get to retirement, it is good to own your own home. You want to have a place that you're not paying rent or mortgage of when you're 65, 70 years of age. So in that sense, home ownership, I think, can be a real blessing. And of course, it's a blessing from the point of view of a place to raise your family, have memories, all those sorts of things, and not have the hassle of moving all the time. So I get it, there is a genuine blessing with it. But a couple of questions you should ask yourself though before you jump into this thing. And the first thing is, do I have enough margin in my finances to be able to do it? In other words, if I take out a home loan to buy a house, is there a sufficient gap between what I'm going to be spending and what I earn? Am I going to be able to save, have money set aside for emergencies? Am I still going to be able to live generously? And as a Christian, am I still be able to give faithfully if I enter into this transaction and to own my own home? Because the reality is, we want to be able to maintain our living generous lives focused on things that are eternal value. At the end of the day, owning a house is not eternal. It's good and can be a blessing, but it's not an eternal thing. We want to still be able to, fund and advance God's kingdom, whether we rent or whether we own a home.